very low.
Why are you misguided enough to think that Minato beats Tobirama?
Because he's like faster, like stated that the ways that godlike speed, like that whole teleportation, his body flickers to his own whole shtick. He's just better at it.
How do you know he's faster than Tobirama, bro? Who the fuck is pinging me, bro? Don't ping me in the announcement, Frosty. What the fuck? I had to check that whole ass notification. Do you think I want to click on things? Do you think? You delete. You're not fucking ready. Right now. This next drink is gonna put me on the next tier, though. W. Listen, you saw what this shit did to Lee. You're not fucking ready. Bro, Darius, is this nigga in VC? Hold on.
A lot of skin.
Is
Says,
says scans, bro?
yeah, a lot of skin.
A handsome man, shining with natural born talent, like a blinding glint. Time and space itself seems to stand still. This nigga handles to perfection the Hiroshina Jitsu. Okay, so you're using that, you're using that scan with Tobirama saying shit about Shunshin? Okay, let's start with that one. Why do you think that one means Minato's faster?
So they think he's better at it, and then in like the data book helps.
Hold on,
to
better
that.
at what?
The data book
Better
helps
at
to that notation.
better at what?
Using body flicker and FTG in general, because FTG, Minato's FTG surpasses body flicker.
So,
Minato's
which
body
of
has the
those
best
two
body flicker
things?
in the whole series.
Which of those two things do you think Tobirama's referring to in that scan?
Obviously body flicker, because that's what they use to get there.
A, I don't even know you could prove that they use body flicker to get there. And B, so Tobirama says there in the Japanese, Shunshin, which is also a.
I think I can prove that he's body flicker. I don't think
So not necessarily. So that's in the grab. So with that whole thing of either knowing if it's flying Raijin or body flicker, obviously you know for a fact Hashirama and Hiruzen are using body flicker to get to the battlefield. They want to get to the battlefield as soon as possible. Madara's around, the Ten Tails, you name it. They have every fucking incentive and motive to get to the goddamn battlefield. While Minato and Tobirama have flying Raijin. All they gotta do is just throw their kunines and teleport, and they're altering space and time itself, and they're gonna get there way fucking quicker. Way fucking quicker. Okay, and if anything, it's actually more believable and arguable to argue that Minato got the reason why he was there to get there the first, okay, was because he was using flying Raijin, okay, which is obviously better than body flicker, all right. And not only that, there's even certain points in the anime and in the manga where it shows Minato's kunines in certain areas, like before, way back, and then up forward. So he's clearly using flying Raijin to get there, and probably using maybe body flickers here and there as well. So while Tobirama has the same abilities and access, he can be able to do body flicker and flying Raijin. Okay, so if anything, Tobirama should have been able to get there right when Minato got there, but he fucking didn't. You know what I mean? Clearly showing that he's better at teleporting and faster than Tobirama, meaning therefore Minato's faster, therefore even Tobirama states it verbatim, you're even better at teleporting than me. Guess what? That right there, W. I'm sorry, like there's no way to fucking argue against this. It's blatantly fucking stated. Blatantly stated. First you want to get there. What does that mean? Minato's speed butts. And this is in fucking base. Not even with KCM. Imagine with KCM, bro. What does he do? What does little trash Tobirama do? Okay? Guess what? Died a Kin and Ginkaku again, all over again, while Minato would body them if he was there instead. Okay? That's what happens.
Shunshin,
Teleportation is like
dead boy, dead boy. Shunshin refers to either body flicker of or FTG. How do you know which one it is?
FTG is faster than body flicker. I can show you the scan, so either way, it wouldn't matter.
And that is true.
So do you think he's
Alright, hang on. One second. But back to what I was saying. Another thing you could also do if you were to run into this in a debate and how to argue it and go against it, it's actually irrelevant even if it is flying Horizon or body flicker, because once again they could be using both techniques. Okay, and there's actually evidence to even to prove that as well, not concretely but to imply it. And so basically, there's that. And the second thing, even if it was body flicker, let's say it wasn't flying Horizon, right, and it was body flicker. You know what that means, right? That means if Minato's body flicker is better than Tobirama, guess what? Minato body flickers Tobirama before he can use Flying Raijin. Or even grab a kunai and fucking use Flying Raijin. Because we know Flying Raijin is greater than body flicker. That's blatantly stated and shown. Okay? So, with that being said, if Minato's body flicker is better than Tobirama, he still gets speed blitzed. And so whatever, but let's see how Dead Boy goes about it. Because if he goes about it in the wrong way, or to a point where basically either this point is neutral and no one has it, or he loses a point, then it doesn't matter. But I'm just kind of putting this out there this way. If you guys were in this situation, you know how to approach it and what to say.
referring to FTG?
Hey, baby! What you doing? Did you take a nap? Did you take a nap, baby? Yeah, you silly boy. What you doing? Yeah, I still see you. You can't hide. Oh. What you doing? Yeah.
Either?
I think he's referring to body flicker though, because I don't think
Why?
that. Hold on, because I don't think that teleportation is speed and shit like that. He says, and on Hiruzen says, Minato, you're fastest ever. So obviously that's an implication of speed.
So Hiruzen can have his own thoughts, right? But why does Hiruzen's thoughts correlate to Tobirama's?
What are you talking about?
Because you said Hiruzen says he's fast as ever.
Yeah,
Why does that fucking matter to what
that
Tobirama says?
Yeah, that argument has nothing to do with what I just said. Yeah, you can get scans for us, it's fine. It has nothing to do with what I just said. It's Hiruzen's detailing what speed is, right? He said Minato is fast as ever.
What's he doing?
You actively saw that Minato use a speed.
What you doing? What you doing, baby? You get so excited.
The indication right here is speed. I don't think necessarily teleportation
Hiruzen.
is speed. You can argue
Wait,
that if you want
you Frosty? So check that scan Frosty just posted where it literally says swiftness, aka speed, right? Synonyms?
What you doing? What
So I
you
don't know what the
doing,
fuck
baby?
They refer to
So-
FTG as speed.
Oh, that's fine. So you admit that FTG speed? Okay. FTG.
FTG
hold
can-
on. FTG surpasses body flicker, and then it's stated in the data book that Minato is the greatest at this godlike speed, and in other data books. Hold on.
Let's start on that one. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Because that first
And then
people said,
And hold on. Wait a minute.
don't bring up the second
Wait a
thing.
minute. Let me talk. And then there's multiple data books that explain Shunswing or body flicker as being.
This man's spitting. Spitting.
Okay, listen. So, in that one data book you're talking about, where they're like, "Oh my God, these niggas were calling Minato fast as fuck, bro." Nigga, Tobirama was dead, so why the fuck does that matter? Like, how does that tie back to him?
Minato's dead too.
Minato wasn't dead.
So Minato's not dead canonically throughout the whole series.
Will you pull up the scan real quick? I'll try to grab it too.
Let this play.
It's
Because they're not really talking about something that's
third
too,
or
too,
fourth.
too crazy.
It's one of them two boys. I want to say it's the third data book. I'm not gonna lie.
What you looking for?
We're looking for Minato praise that. Wait, I think Frosty already posted that. Pause. Full pause.
Crazy.
Yeah. Post it for me.
The guy like speed thing? I just sent it. Oh, he sent the foot.
Okay, so that's towards the bottom. Okay.
So you think it's referring? You think it's only referring to him? He's alive, or do you not see the KCM two right there too? You think he's alive with the KCM too?
You praised boy during. So we've got in the third war, blah blah blah. Here that niggas to this. Praised among all boys as ABC.
Bruh. He passed out right after that?
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
narcolepsy.
That's crazy.
Why? How does this
shit
relate to
killed me. We
Tobirama?
was at the Tawny and we were laughing at that for like 30 minutes.
Bruh.
That God likes.
Like life said, fuck you, bitch. You don't get to celebrate.
Bro, that shit was hilarious, dude. And the noise he made.
Multiple different time periods. So I think it's talking about Minato and the Shinobi world in general. It's like Minato's whole shtick being like the fastest, but he's proven that. So yes, it can be referring to anybody at that time. It can be referring to
Okay.
it can be referring
So-
to him being faster than Tobirama.
So the people who were alive to see Minato, right, were alive during a time Tobirama was dead. The entire time Minato was active as a ninja
You think that?
was the period during Tobirama being dead.
You think that? You think Hiruzen was dead? Do you think Hiruzen wasn't alive when Tobirama was alive?
Hiruzen, right? Let's say we're in the third war. Let's
We're not talking
flashback.
about, it's not talking about a specific time period. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't actually specifically say he's greatest like God Creed in this time period. It just says greatest like God Creed. And you just made a wrong statement. You said that no one was alive. Hiruzen was definitely alive. So
Oh, I
Hiruzen can
didn't say
know.
no.
Hiruzen can
I
know.
didn't say no one was alive. What I'm saying, back when Minato was gaining all of his clout for speed, Tobirama was dead.
That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with like that has nothing to. There's nothing wrong with again. You still saying you're the greatest to ever do it. Let's say this: Muhammad Ali's dead, but if I become a boxer, hold on, Muhammad Ali.
Wait,
Hold on.
you said ever. No, you said ever.
Hold on.
Right, and that's not in the scan.
Hold on. That doesn't have to say ever. If I wanted to say,
Yes, it
I'm the
does.
greatest, hold on. If I
I'll
were to
tell
say
you
I'm
why.
the greatest boxer. I'm the greatest boxer
Yes.
at this thing, right? It doesn't
Yep.
have to only specifically be during that time. And again, this is just
Hold on.
analogies, and it doesn't matter because the whole data books talk about Minato in general.
Let-
So we cannot generalize one time period if it's talking about Minato.
My question is, are they talking about base Minato versus Tobirama? Or is it Sage Mode included? Is it KCM included? Because Sage Mode or KCM is even involved at all, Tobirama loses. That's it. Simple. So, but if we're talking about base to base, that's a more interesting concept, but I still think Minato has it over the edge. He's going to win with low difficulty, basically. Kind of similar to what happened with Obito. It's going to be the same result. But that'll basically be it. But I believe they're talking about base to base. I believe so.
Hold on. You can get context though, right? So you brought up the Muhammad Ali thing, and you
I
could
can
say,
retract,
yeah.
I can retract,
Hold on, wait.
I can retract the analogy. I'm gonna do that.
No, let me just. Well, yeah. Let me just put that example up. You can be like, yeah, I'm the greatest boxer. Well, yeah, you can currently be the greatest boxer without being the best boxer ever. Again, with this back here, everyone who saw Minato doing shit saw Hokage or Third War Minato do shit. And then when if you're trying to say it applies to like fucking KCM Minato, let's see, what even did he do? Fucking.
You're not addressing my argument. My argument has nothing to do with who can perceive him or what. The general data book statement, talking about a general character. Again, this would work if it's specifically talking about a certain time period, but it doesn't. Where we see multiple different Minatos, we see Hokage Minato, we see KCM, and we see Jonin. So, it's not talking about only one specific one, it's talking about a general Minato. He's seeing 2 Minato, Minato, Tobirama is definitely there in attendance. So, it's fine for me to say, or to say he's the greatest at godlike speed. It's fine to say it's a general statement. Because then again, that's a whole shtick, because this is proven by Tobirama. This is even better than me at this. But it's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing contradictory.
So you're saying, well, the data book shows Minato at several periods, so that one statement must be referring to all types of Minato.
Yeah, unless it's verbatim stated to only be for this time period, which the data book does not say that. You can't show where it says that. It's just only this time period. But again.
Okay. So if 2 things. So we're doing base to base right now, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So if you're trying to say, for some reason, that this applies to Warwick Minato, where he has KCM, how the fuck do you know that that would apply to base Minato and not KCM Minato?
It's a general
Good point.
statement about the general character. I don't care if it's KCM2, base, or Jonin. I mean base, fucking Jonin, or Hokage.
But if we're doing base to base...
Hold on, your argument works if it again says specifically this one. I don't have to know if it's talking about a certain one. It's talking about me.
No. Back up. So if it's okay, so let's entertain your argument for a second. If that statement is applying to Minato in general, right? Minato in general in the fucking war has KCM. So if Minato with KCM is the fastest, but him without it isn't.
Okay, you're asserting that he isn't with this.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you, how do you know which it applies to?
Your argument is taking too much assumptions. You keep going to these certain circumstances, this, that, and the third, which I'm making.
So Mono has a good point. He's clearly not understanding. He's getting upset. So what Mono was trying to say is, obviously, Deadboy's argument, the whole thing was, this is an overall general thing, but blah, blah, therefore proves that Minato's faster than Tobirama, yada, yada, etc. But the problem with this scan and how he's saying it's an in general thing, even though it's showing Hokage Minato, Jonin Minato, KCM2 Minato, etc. What the problem is, and Mono was right about this, so he definitely has this point, is there's no way to know what that's pertaining to. That's the issue. So if we're, you know what I mean, like, obviously we know KCM is over Hokage and Jonin Minato. Like, KCM2, like, come on, bro. KCM2 Minato, like, that's a no-brainer. So, meaning that he's actually contradicting himself with this scan and argument, because basically what he's saying is just Minato and base is on the same level as KCM2 Minato, or Sage Mode Minato, you know what I mean? Or better yet, like, Jonin too, which Jonin is heavily and narratively emphasized and comparable to KCM1 Naruto, while Hokage Minato, okay, is being compared to then KCM2 Naruto, and then KCM2 Naruto is even more than that. I mean, not Naruto, Minato is even more than base Minato. But the problem with what Deadboy is trying to say is he's basically saying, you know what I mean, that this fucking Minato is like the same level as KCM2, you know what I mean, like, you know, the same as fucking Sage Mode base Minato. Like, that's blatantly not true, and obviously not the same as Jonin. That would even make it worse. Like, so that doesn't work, and that's what Mono was trying to explain to him. This could obviously pertain to certain variants of Minato, and obviously depending on what that variant is, that can be a certain power level, speed, etc. Meaning, therefore, you can't apply this as a general, you know, establishment, because that's not the case. Now, what Deadboy can do, what he can do, is at least referring to base Minato. Like, if it comes where it says, you know, like, cutting through the darkness of the ninja world, the yellow flash, that awesome between time and space, you know, to seem to stand still or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and saying due to that statement alone, where, like, Minato has, like, a very, very high narrative to cut the darkness and always win with his god tier speed, that's a good way to go about that, you know. Or if there's something else maybe specifically pertaining to base Minato, then sure, fine. But if it's not doing that, you have a problem. And meaning this is going to contradict itself, and it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Okay. But like if it's certain like narrative implications like that bold writing cutting through the darkness or things along that, that's fine. Because clearly it was shown over and over the weakest version of Minato, Jonin, was fucking just like unstoppable. Child of prophecy, you know what I mean? Will save the world, cutting through darkness. And then you have a stronger version, 4th Hokage Minato, who's a fucking beast, okay? And literally bodying, soloing, you know, you name it. Like this, you're talking about a guy that was soloing wars and backpacking shit. While Tobirama, on the other fucking hand, okay, you know, doesn't have the same narrative emphasis, okay, or anything like that. You know what I mean? Doesn't even have the same narrative emphasis of, you know, the flying Raijin, you know what I mean, of how, you know, how it's, you know, utilized in superior, blah, blah. Instead, actually, the data books actually imply Minato has a higher variant of the flying Raijin, and it's even better than Tobirama. It's not even classified under Tobirama, it's only for Minato. So, like, there's so much evidence to show that Minato's teleportation, narratively, blah, blah, that he's just way over Tobirama, whatever. But regardless of that, how Deadboy is approaching this and what he's saying and what the scan he's using, that doesn't work. That doesn't make any fucking sense. You know what I mean? So Mono, he's definitely on the right direction, and let's see how he's gonna further explain and basically say why this point is redundant. Deadboy needs to rephrase it or go in a different direction with it, because what he's doing as of now, it's not working for him.
It's making a simple argument, bro.
Yo, Deadboy,
Here, since it's not specifically stated which one, we can say it's generally just Minato. It can be War Arc Minato. It can be KCM2 Minato. That's not contradicting anything. Me saying
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Is the greatest at godlike speed, and me saying KCM2 Minato is the greatest at godlike speed, it doesn't mean anything. It's still Minato.
Hold on, but Deadboy,
That could be.
if
He
we're
can
talking
have
about,
an amp. KCM2 can amp
If we're-
along to this greatest godlike speed.
No.
That doesn't
Here's
straight
the
away make
thing.
a difference.
Here's the thing. If you're saying
Bottom line is, this is a lost point for Deadboy either way, and there's no way for MONOICHI to even like also win this point either, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, you don't know. The only thing that we do know is which version of Minato is stronger. You know what I mean? So once again, this is stupid. You know what I mean? This is very fucking stupid. Like, so what Deadboy needs to do, okay, is approach it. If we're talking about base Minato, he needs to approach the arguments and the debating in a sense that's clearly correlating to base Minato, not KCM2, not Joning, or any of this other bull, whatever, or Sage Mode, just base. He needs to utilize feats and evidence for that Minato in particular. That's it. Nothing else. Because otherwise it just makes it confusing, it can make it contradicting, etc. And that's what MONOICHI is trying to explain. Okay? So, therefore, it's just that fucking simple. And then go that way. And just with going that direction alone, you could still be able to prove Minato is greater than Tobirama. Okay? It's that fucking simple. There's so much evidence. Data books, narrative, feats, you name it. Okay? So, overall, it's that fucking simple. Alright? That's it.
that this applies all the way up to the War Arc, where Minato has KCM, and you do not know if he is the fastest with or without it, because if it doesn't specify, then we just don't know if this does or does not include the amp. So
Correct.
if you can't tell me which one it is, then I don't see how you're applying this to base Minato.
Okay. You wanna go to conclusions on this point? Do you think
Okay,
we
so
actually
let
debunk
me.
what I said?
So where are we at right now? So tell me if I'm wrong. So you're saying, so this is just a statement about Minato, and therefore we can apply it to base Minato? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying we can apply it to all versions of Minato. It's a general statement about Minato himself. It's a general Minato statement.
Okay. So my whole point is,
So I'm asking you a question. If Orochimaru says to Hiruzen, you know all, the data book says Hiruzen knows all jutsu in the leaf. Are we saying Prime Hiruzen knows all jutsu in the leaf? Or does old man Hiruzen know? Like, do I need to specifically get into that? Or would that just make sense when he that?
that's completely fucking different.
Okay.
Knowledge isn't based on what fucking form you are. Speed
Okay.
is.
This is
KCM's
not-
a speed
hold on,
amp.
This is not based
True.
off- This is not
True.
saying that when he gets into a certain
Moto's right on that.
his greatest godlike.
Bully his ass, Moto. Booty his ass.
He has greatest just like that. He just has that.
Bro, I see the Minecraft thing in the
So
bottom.
it doesn't have to specify his form, right?
Yes, it
Because
does.
Minato.
For your
So
argument
when
to
you
work,
say,
yes, it does.
so when you say like Naruto has the greatest destructive power in the leaf, then the question would become, okay, well, using what? His fists, his Rasengan,
Yeah.
a beast bomb, what? This is the same case.
Not
If you're
necessarily.
saying, oh, well, Minato, including War Arc, has the greatest of godlike speed, well then, using what? Body flicker, FTG, KCM's body flicker, what? If
Okay.
you don't know
I
that,
don't have to
then you
not. I don't
cannot
have to.
apply
Hold on.
that to base Minato.
I don't have to have affirm that I like make it affirmative that I need to know about this certain thing. That's something that does not need to be known. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. It heavily matters. That's pure fucking bro. Somebody get this man out of here. Like the fact that he's even arguing for Minato is not good so far. The first thing that he did do very well with the teleportation thing, he did it decently. That's a good point. Whatever, I'll give him that. But this whole fucking shit right now on Scan, he is taking a massive L. Massive.
Don't know
Hold on. However vague a statement is however vague I can debate with it and take it. So vaguely, we see 3 forms of Minato, and then it describes this as just the general data book profile. This data book profile is not about the profile of just KCM1 Minato. This is not data book profile about Stage Minato. It's Minato in general. If it's specifically specifying about which Minato it had the godlike speed, I believe they would caption that and say this Minato. But they don't say that.
It doesn't have to. It doesn't. That's an
Okay.
argument. It doesn't have to specify using what allows him to have the fastest speed.
Do you know what a preponderance of evidence is?
Yeah, an amount or like what shows which is the conclusion.
So-
Something like that.
I think what I'm saying makes the most sense. My initial argument is that Tobirama is saying that Minato is faster than him.
Okay, so let's stick on that one, right?
Hold on.
So hold on, no, because that's
then you
integral,
ask me-
right?
then you ask me-
Let's back up. Let's back
Hold
up
on.
because
Then you
that's
ask me
that's a
how do I know he's using body flicker? I explain why I think he's using body flicker.
Wait, what and why is that? Because I asked you, how do you know they got there with body flicker?
Yeah,
And I
and
didn't
I
hear a
elaborated on my
response.
argument with what Haruzen said. But then you said, "Oh, how does he know about Tobirama's thoughts?" And I thought that
Well,
argument,
hold
that
on.
argument doesn't make
So
sense.
him saying, so Hiruzen saying Minato is fast can be FTG. So how do you know it's body flicker?
FTG is faster than body flicker, as you
Yeah.
conceded. Hold on, as you conceded to by
Yep.
you. By
No,
you
I agree.
literally-
I agree.
Hold on.
I
By
agree.
you saying that swiftness is synonymous with quickness, with being fast.
Yes, good boy.
So
I agree.
okay, so if you agree that FTG is faster
Yeah.
than body flicker,
Yes.
then it doesn't matter which one it's being used. It can
Oh,
be
hold on,
either
pause.
or.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because body flicker is only speed. FTG is not. FTG
Yeah.
has several ways you can be better than someone. Body flicker doesn't.
Okay. But in this context right here, what is he talking about?
Oh. Oh shit. There's no way. How do you know what Tobirama's talking about?
No,
Tell
I'm
me.
talking about Haruzen. What is he talking about in this context?
I don't give a fuck about
Hold
Hiruzen.
on.
You're trying to use
That's the
Tobi-
basis. That's
hold
the
on.
basis. We know that he's
Hold on.
using speed
No.
right here. Hold on. My argument is
No,
that he's using
that-
speed. You just argued that.
Hold
You
on.
just argued that he can be better at anything else but that.
Hold on.
That's fine.
Dead boy.
What is the?
Hold on, Dead Boy. You're trying to use
You told me that we have to
Tobirama's-
debate off context. Based off the context of the scene, why is Haruzen saying this?
Hold on.
What happened in
You're
that
trying to
scene?
use. Hold on. You're trying to use Tobirama's statement to prove he's better than Tobirama, right? Yes.
I mean,
You're trying to
the
use
whole scan. I don't do like that weird shit where I pickpocket certain parts of the scan. I have to debate with the whole scan. We use
You
the whole
debate
scan
with
as
the whole scan.
context.
Hold on. We can debate with the whole scan, right? Hiruzen can be like, "Damn, you're as fast as you always been."
not what he
Tobirama
says.
can be saying, "You're better." He says, "You're as fast as ever." That's exactly what the fuck he said.
That's not.
Anyway.
You're as fast as you always been. It's two different things.
Dead boy, when you tell someone you're as fast as
It doesn't
Ever.
matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
anyway, Tobirama, however, says, "Yeah, your Shunshin's better than mine," which can either be body flicker or FTG, since we don't know which one of those it is, since both are speed.
Okay.
Well, no, it doesn't even matter because the speed thing was Hiruzen. Since we don't know which it is, and we also know FTG has 3 to 4 things, including speed, different facets you can be better than someone as,
So,
right? How do you know which aspect
Alright, I'll tell you.
Tobirama
So-
is talking about?
Okay, I'll explain this one time and one time only. It's the last time I'm gonna explain it. We have to debate off context. So I'm gonna go through my argument again, and hopefully this time we'll understand that.
I'm gonna. If you're gonna say Hiruzen's statement is related to Tobirama's,
Yes, it is. You can just keep denying all you want, but yes, it is. Hiruzen says, Minato, you're as fast as ever.
Hiruzen
So the
said.
first basis of this is speed. That's the first thing. He's directing about speed.
Hold on.
Don't
And
cut me off now.
Hiruzen-
I'm going with the argument. I'm trying to prove something.
Yeah.
Then he says,
So
fourth,
Hiruzen says-
you're even better at teleporting than me. Okay.
Okay.
Better can be
We have a
in
second
any
statement.
categories, but obviously,
Yep.
earlier, based off the context of this game, that Hiruzen's talking about speed. So it would
Hold on.
it would not be a far stretch to say Tobirama's doing this thing too, but that would be headcanon, right? So
I don't
then-
care
hold
if
on.
it's a
Hold on. So
stretch or
hold
not.
on. So then, that's why I present you the data book statement that says he is the greatest at godlike speed. So if we use that, right, I can fall back on it, and it still says the same thing. Minato, you're as fast as ever.
Oh.
You're even better at teleporting than me. Him saying better, based with the data book scan, can mean that he's literally saying he's faster than me. That makes the most sense.
Okay. So I'll tie this all together, right? So the fact that you don't know which Minato they're talking about in the data book, combined with the fact that being better at FTG can either mean speed, size of objects teleported, amount of seals used at one time, or amount of people teleported at one time, you just don't know shit about what's being said here. You don't know, because Hiruzen, right, says a thing, but Tobirama says a thing. These are two different niggas. Like, Tobirama can just be thinking something completely different than Hiruzen is,
Okay.
and we know for a fact. Well, okay, we know that Minato, what he did with FTG was teleport a Jubi bomb, right? That's bigger than Kurama is, or maybe about relative size to the Buddha statue. Bigger than anything we know Tobirama's ever teleported. He could just be talking about fucking that. Like,
Prove
Hiruzen
that happened before
is his
this.
own nigga. What?
What happened before that? Because it didn't happen before that.
The bomb being teleported didn't happen before the other Kage arrived? Nigga, are you... Right. Really, dead boy? Really?
That I prove that happened before this.
He does not remember that. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, boy, are you fucking kidding me? You don't remember Minato getting there first, okay? Fucking teleporting the 10 Tails Beast Bomb away, planting all his markers, okay, and having a full-on conversation with Sakura and Naruto. And then they get there. You don't remember that, bro? How the fuck do you not remember that?
Even if it did happen before this, was Tobirama even there?
Nigga, why do you have to be... Like, what do you mean there, bro?
Was he there? Did he
Okay,
see-
now that's a good point, though, that Dead Boy's bringing up. Finally, holy fuck, like, he's finally using these goddamn words. That's a good point. Tobirama wasn't there, okay? Instead, the only thing Tobirama knows, what we know for a fact, is that every Hokage is trying to get to the battlefield as fast as possible. They're all trying to go as fast as possible. There's so much initiative and narrative to prove that. If you're in denial of that, then you're a fucking retard, or you're a rat. I don't know what to tell you, okay? They're all trying to get there as fast as possible. That we do know Tobirama knows. And Minato is way ahead of them. Way ahead of them. Regardless of body flicker, flying rise, whatever, he's using both, okay? And he's still able to get there. Meaning, therefore, he is still faster than all of them. Hiruzen, Hashirama, Tobirama, you name it. He is faster. That's simple. So, that's a good point, and hopefully he's going to lean on that and elaborate on it, because that is true. So, meaning that would debunk what MONOICHI is implying, that we don't know, blah, blah, what it could be pertaining to, blah, blah, yada, yada, because since Tobirama's not there, then that would work for MONOICHI, because then he could be talking about either the Tail Beast Bomb being teleported away, or getting there, or, planting his marker, stuff like that. But Tobirama wasn't there. Meaning he didn't see all that. The only thing Tobirama knows is that they were all trying to get there, and Minato was way ahead in the league. Okay? Meaning, hopefully if Dead Boy goes in that direction, that would prove still that it's referring to teleportation, or better yet, to speed. Speed. And if he has greater speed, guess what? He beats Tobirama. Simple. Holy fuck.
No.
Yeah, you don't know.
Probably.
Exactly.
It
Why?
can be.
Prove
He
why
can
probably.
have
Prove
seen
why
it.
probably.
He can have seen it.
He can have, so you
What
don't know.
stopped
So
him
you're
from
arguing
seeing
off
it?
uncertainty. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't know. It's easier to assume that he wasn't there. That they all just arrived. It's the easiest thing to
Whoa,
assume.
hold on.
That's the easiest
Whoa,
thing to assume that
okay.
they just
If
appeared
I'm
to the
saying
battlefield.
right- Okay, let me make this a little more clear. He can have seen the several 100-meter tall beast bomb that was fired and disappeared. He can have seen that, and if he did, which is possible, and unless you show it was impossible that he saw that gigantic fucking orb, right? Then he can comment like, "Damn, bro, you just teleported
I don't
some
need
shit."
I don't need to prove that possibility. I can just debate off context. Obviously, based off the context, we're talking about them arriving. Says Minato, you're fast as ever. It's talking about speed. Then it's
Yeah,
fine
but
for
you're
Tobirama.
trying to
It's
use
fine. Hold on.
a
It's fine for
different-
Tobirama to say the same thing. I don't give a fuck if there's two different characters. We still argue within context. It doesn't matter because two different characters are there. They could be talking about the same conversation. Like what?
It
It's
can
a general.
be.
That's how
You
people
said
talk.
can be.
That's how people talk.
How do you know they
That's how
are
people talk.
talking about
Like,
the same thing?
like, let's say there's three different characters here. Damn, this ramen good. He says, yeah, you're better. He says, yeah, you're better at this than me. What?
Hold on, wait. Right. So, let me see if I can allow. Damn, this room is spinning too much for me to analogize. Pause for a second. So, Hiruzen commenting on Minato's speed.
Then
Yeah.
Tobirama says you're better at needing teleporting. We know that teleportation, right? When someone says they're better at something, it can be multiple different categories. Obviously, in this context, if Hiruzen just fucking says you're faster than this, and we both think that's their whole shtick of teleporting around and being quick and shit like that, it would make the most perfect sense while he's talking about them, the swiftness and shit like this. The data book statement supports this.
But-
I don't need to
but
repeat
wait.
myself multiple times.
But
It's not easy. It's really not hard to understand.
It also makes perfect sense for Tobirama to see this nigga teleport something he never could, and to say, "Damn, girl, you're better than I am at that." Right? Does it not? Am I
Yeah, but Tobirama wasn't there though. That's the problem. So that wouldn't work for Monichi, and I don't know why fucking Deadboy is not like elaborating in that direction. He's just either repeating himself or saying shit that like he needs to explain why the context supports what he's saying to make Monichi look like an idiot. That's all he needs to do, but he's not doing that.
Yeah, you're tripping bad. I already like.
Okay. So, in TLDR, my babies, this nigga Hiruzen is a different ass nigga. Tobirama can just be talking about something completely different than what Hiruzen is. The fact that they're in the same scan does not mean they're talking about the same thing. That's just not logically necessary.
Yeah.
And since you can't prove what he's talking about, since your only quote unquote evidence is, well, Hiruzen says speed, so Tobirama has to be talking about this shit. Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. Was that your conclusion on the point?
I guess so.
Okay, let me conclude the point, and then Frosty can just judge and win the point right now. All right. In conclusion, like anything you just said, it doesn't matter. I'm arguing off the preponderance of evidence, like to explain like why, if this thing is true, then this others can't support it. Like if this were my conclusion being true. Basically, I'm saying that you debate off context, and obviously, conversations happen and people respond. They respond off of context. So basically, what I said was, right. The context is
shit about responding in your argument, but go on.
Okay. Basically, the context is they all, Hiruzen, Tobirama, and Hashirama arrived there. Minato's there first. Hiruzen says you're fast as ever. Then he says you're even better at teleporting than me. He conceded to the fact that better can mean faster or these two other things. I obviously think he's talking about speed here, based off what Hiruzen said, and then he interjected himself inside the conversation. But then he brings up the possibility. So I outright demolished that possibility with my other scans, right? For preponderance of evidence, by them literally saying, Minato has the greatest godlike speed. We know that Shinsuin, right? As compared to godlike speed, I said Shinsuin's called godlike speed in multiple different data books. So it's fine for him to have the greatest godlike speed. He said, don't know what time period Minato's talking about. I said multiple times, it doesn't say a specific time period. It's not talking about a specific time period. This is the Minato data book file, not the Minato casing 1, casing 2, or Sage mode. We talk about him in general, right? And I say I can correlate that back to the scan because we always see base Minato performing his feat. So I think off of preponderance of evidence in my like just reasoning itself, I think I easily won this point. Frosty, you can give your judgment.
Hello?
Yeah.
Alright. From what I
Time for judge time.
heard in like conclusions, y'all said that like each other said a lot, so I don't like have to check later, or y'all can mention it. I think Deadboy won because of or do you need me to explain, or are you fine with just continuing?
I do need you to explain.
About the
So before this guy talks to judge, because that was already like a half-ass lazy, like fucking, you know what I mean? I don't know. But anyways, so the first point, which is with this, which is obviously correlating with speed, teleportation, whether if it's body flicker, flying rush, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. Definitely got to give that to Deadboy. But when it came to the correlation of like to connect the dots when it comes to like, you know what I mean, like Minato's general speed, and that's just always, you know what I mean, greater, blah blah, whatever, yada yada. That's very contentious because obviously it depends on which version you are talking about. Because obviously there's certain versions of Minato that are greater than the other. Okay, so with that being said, okay, that point was definitely given to Monoichi. Okay. And then also, okay, there was even a point where Deadboy was even saying that over all time, okay, that Minato was the fastest, which that is also incorrect because that wouldn't be correct. And the reason why is because when there's a point where Minato's not even like, Minato's probably a kid at this fucking point, right? And Tobirama was considered the fastest of his time when, you know, Madara and Hashirama were there and they're all fighting war, you name it. Then time goes by, Tobirama dies, and Minato is considered the fastest. Then after Minato dies, and the Raikage is considered the fastest, so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? So overall, like with that being said, okay, there are different time periods and different points when certain characters get over the other. And that could either be because due to them either being dead, that could be either due to, you know, fucking, what's it called, you know what I mean, to also like other implications, but it's more than likely an implication of when someone's dead. Why? There's actually evidence to support that. The Raikage states it verbatim that since the fourth Hokage died, the Yellow Flash, that now that he is the fastest ninja alive. So meaning, when Tobirama died, okay, and he was considered the fastest of his time at that point, and then Minato took up the next mantle and utilized the same techniques he created, blah, blah, then he was considered the fastest. Okay, that's clearly implying overall to, you know what I mean, to like when obviously one or the other is either alive or not, that's who would be the fastest. And it makes perfect sense. For instance, a little analogy for you guys. Let's say I have the strongest punch in the world, right? Strongest punch, right? Let's say it's calculated at like 100. Like a fucking, I don't know, 100 billion fucking force of power. Who knows, right? And I die. Then someone else comes, okay, and does the punch, right? And now fucking he does 100 billion, you know, 100 billion amount of force, the same as I did before. The reason why he's considered the best puncher in the world at that time is because, for one, I'm dead, I'm not alive, and two, okay, he is currently there doing that feat, the same exact feat. So the only way to know who's actually better than the other is if I were to come back to life, okay, and I was to do like 106 billion and he could only do 105. Then you would know who is actually better. You see where I'm getting at? So when it comes to that whole thing, like, that should have been more discussed and analyzed properly, etc. And I feel like Monoichi was definitely winning that point in time of the debate. But when it comes to this whole thing, I definitely got to give that to Deadboy. So if I was judging the debate, this is actually a tie. They need to talk a little bit more, okay, and then see who wins the following point. Because as of now, it's a fucking tie, if I'm really being honest with you. Like a point system wise, you know what I mean? But if we're just going off like overall, and since Deadboy was at least able to win the speed argument when it comes to this particular moment, which is base Minato, okay, then obviously then we would know how the fight would go, and Minato would just speed blitz and Tobirama dies. That's simple, right? So it is what it is. At the end of the day, you know, it was a funny debate. It was interesting. Whatever, it was good. But it's tied. There's no fucking winner here. So this judge is actually incorrect. It's not a W for either, or it's a tie. From what I have heard and seen and remember so far.
Mostly about the generality thing. When he said that, like, if they really wanted to specify like a certain time period, they would have. I think you tried to argument from ignorance, but then he just showed you that, like, the what is it called? If you look at the whole data book file, it's referring to like over Minato's whole life, because they show base Minato, Joni Minato, and then Casey and two, and then for the what is it called?
Okay.
For the body flicker statement, or do you want to go to that?
Yeah, the first part. So were you here, or did you hear me say that if he's trying to include up to the war arc, that can include KCM, and if it isn't referring to KCM, and it's only like Third War and Hokage Minato, that Tobirama just was not fucking around, and that's a present state fucking statement.
Wait, my bad. Say that one more time. What did you say?
Okay. So that means, while it says this man has the greatest and godlike speed, if it does indeed include KCM, then we don't know which form of Minato has the greatest speed. But if it's only referring
So we do technically. Obviously, that would be KCM2 Minato. It's not fucking rocket science.
to Third War Minato or Hokage, then Tobirama is dead, and it's a present state statement, or a present tense statement, where Minato is this fastest around during that time, that Tobirama's dead. So either Tobirama's dead during the Third War or Hokage and it doesn't matter, or it can include base or KCM, and since we don't know, then we cannot apply it to base, because we don't know which of them this statement applies to.
Correct. That is absolutely fair, which is once again why he won that point. There's, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to know exactly or affirmatively. And overall, once again, that could be due to Tobirama being dead. And also, okay, we don't know which version that's pertaining to. So absolutely, that makes perfect fucking sense. If you can't understand that, like, my girlfriend doesn't even do this shit or really all in deep into Naruto, okay? Instead, it's the opposite and it actually bothers her. If I were to literally explain this to her, she'd be like, yeah, that makes sense, meaning there's no way to know, meaning therefore it's redundant and the point doesn't fucking matter. So it's fucking common sense. I don't understand. So once again, like I said before, he definitely won that point. Or better yet, if you just want to really imply integrity, nobody won that fucking point. Okay, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, we don't know, It's still kind of up in the grabs, But when it comes to what has more evidence to support, definitely what MONOICHI is saying when it comes to, like, the time and point, whether if you're dead or not, okay, and which particular version that is being compared and referred to for that. You don't know. So definitely MONOICHI has that point. By all fucking means, okay? So I don't know, this judge is Down syndrome, okay? And then the other guy, he's a fucking idiot too.
Okay. And then I'm gonna try to repeat it. You said that. Actually, Deadboy, just repeat it. Oh wait.
And remind you, before you guys have a titty attack either, MONOICHI, that motherfucker be pissing me off, okay? And I'll be the first one to say when he's being an idiot and he's wrong.
Because KCM Minato is Minato and part of his tool set and power. So if you're trying to apply that statement to the war arc, then that includes his KCM stats. And since we're arguing base to base, then XYZ.
Okay. I said multiple times, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to only, like, apply to one part. It can still be multiple reasons every single time. It can still be analysis, right? So it doesn't necessarily say that it has to get to a specific footprint to get to this, right? We obviously know we see him in base form in the war arc. So you know why my argument can still go through, right, Frosty? Because you definitely see him before him do stuff in base form. So there's nothing wrong with me saying that base form has the greatest godlike speed. And that's why, hold on, Frosty. That's what ties back to my other argument, why I think it's a problem to everything. Because he performed that feat in base form. So if you think I won the fact why Tobirama was calling Minato faster than him when he's in his base form, and then the data book can just support this, like I'm saying, either way, I'd still, like, it doesn't matter. He obviously still sees him in his base form. The war. You can make your judgment.
Despite the fact that we see him in both forms, doesn't
Wait,
change.
what did you say? What did you say to when Deadboy mentioned that, like, even Tobirama, like, admits inferiority to Minato?
Okay, so what I said to the Tobirama statement, where he says, "I pale in comparison in Shushin."
Okay, so they're just right now they're just basically recapping with the judge and still trying to figure out blah blah. Like, I'm done with this video. I'm not fucking doing this. Like, that was a fucking dumb, shitty, lazy ass job that's not even paying attention or either falling asleep like he's in fucking class and doesn't want to listen to the teacher, okay, or the student present their fucking presentation, okay. So I'm not dealing with that. But regardless, overall of who won the fucking debate overall, it's neutral, dead ass neutral. MONOICHI won the fucking that first point of talking about, you know, with the whole data book and thing correlating with wanking Minato or whatever. And then when it comes to the war arc point, where literally Tobirama states it verbatim that Minato is inferior to him in teleportation, and here isn't even compliments on the context of speed itself, and it says, Minato, you are as fast as ever. That is blatant, obvious as day. There's no way to argue against it. There's no way to debunk it. It's clearly inferring to speed and teleportation. What does Tobirama and Minato do? Teleportation. Therefore, if Minato's faster, he speed blitzes Tobirama and he's fucking dead. That's simple, okay? So that's why Deadboy won that point, okay? MONOICHI even tried to argue that point with me in another debate of mine when I was with him. So, like, and he even went about it the correct way to explain why that proves Minato is faster. Now, if he didn't explain correctly and was talking about other dumb bullshit where MONOICHI can still, you know, kind of exploit that, you know what I mean, and make it look weaker as an argument, then obviously that could go towards MONOICHI. But his explanation was good. He emphasized why it matters, and he explained why, therefore, the conclusion, Minato is faster. It's that fucking simple. The only thing he didn't do is elaborate on the context that supports that. And MONOICHI was just saying things and whatever, you know, blah, blah, while Deadboy is just repeating himself and not elaborating on the context that also supports that, because MONOICHI's making a claim that, oh, well, that could just be pertained to him when he sends big objects away, or when he's using his markers, or when he's using flying Raijin, which we know that's not the case, and all Deadboy had to do was emphasize and explain the context that contradicts and debunks his argument, to where literally all you had to say is, well, no, Tobirama wasn't there. He didn't see anything. The only thing Tobirama saw and knew was that they were all trying to get to the war as fast as possible, okay, and literally Minato was ahead of him the whole time, so meaning, therefore, the only thing Tobirama knows is that Minato is faster and better at teleporting, which is why he says what he says. He doesn't say, oh, Minato, you teleporting that Jubi bomb is way better than what I can do teleporting objects away, or Minato, you doing strikes with the fucking flying Raijin or markers is way better when I'm doing that. He doesn't talk about any of that, okay? He's clearly talking about speed and teleportation. And if Minato has a W on that, therefore, he's greater than Tobirama, therefore, he speed blitzes. It's that fucking simple. That's simple. So meaning, the whole, like, we don't know, that goes out the window because it's literally proven. The context supports it. So, that's basically all it is. It's that fucking simple. But overall, if I had to declare who the winner was, it's neutral. Nobody fucking won it. It was literally tied on both points. Okay, Mono had the first point, the other guy had the second point. Now, if we go into like which point is more important and what dictates the final outcome, then obviously Deadboy would then technically win the debate. You know, if we're going that route in judgment. But if we're going by point in judgment of who's winning what, then that's a tie. Basically, that's all it is. So that's basically my my thought process on that. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Let me know who you even think who wins, blah, blah, so on and so forth, etc. You know, and we'll go from there, and that'll be it. So, It is that fucking simple. But either way, before I do conclude this video, Minato is a goat. He slaps Tobirama's ass, whether you like it or not. I don't give a fuck. Okay, and that's just how it is. It's just portrayed by Kishimoto. I don't give a fuck about your wanks, about your bullshit hypotheticals or ratty arguments, whatever the case it is. If you people cannot accept that Minato is just greater than fucking Tobirama, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. Like, it's one thing if you're trying to wank your debate skills, but if you're actually looking in the mirror and being honest with yourself and applying integrity, and you're really going to say to your fucking self in your reflection, or over camera, or whatever the case may be, or in a video, whatever, that Tobirama is actually better than Minato, you're just fucking stupid. You clearly didn't watch Naruto. You clearly did not watch Naruto or read the manga or whatever the case may be. That is why Tobirama died in a war, okay, by weak-ass ninja that Darui bodied, okay, while Minato is soloing wars, backpacking fucking wars, the state of the strongest over and over and over, narratively shown to be a fucking beast. And the only reason why Minato died is because he was willing to kill himself to put the Nine Tails in Naruto. Otherwise, he would have never died. And he would have still been alive to this day. He had two options. Either let Kushina steal the Nine Tails, and she dies, or whatever, or they go, or they both die. Or they both just leave the fucking village and say, alright, Nine Tails, you have fun, destroy everything. Those are the three options that Minato had. And then Minato states it verbatim that, yes, that could work, but then that would disrupt the balance of blah, blah, Jinchuriki, whatever, and there wouldn't be a Nine Tails for a good bit, and that could cause X, Y, and Z problems, whatever, and I don't want to do that. Which, in my opinion, I don't give a fuck, okay? If I was in the position and to choose for right there and then, I don't give a fuck. I would choose to, dead ass, actually. If I really had to choose, I would save well, actually, no, Kushina was going to die. My bad. So her only option was to seal the Nine Tails within her, and then she was going to die. This way they both die, kind of like a suicidal plan. And at that point, so technically, yeah, the better option would just been for Kushina to die, and at least Naruto has a father in the picture. That's it. That's what I would have done. There's no way to save the mother, you know what I mean, so on and so forth. If there was a way to save her, then obviously I'd save her and the son and leave the village and everyone else dies. Not my fucking problem. Who cares? Okay? That's simple. The only reason why Minato died was because he chose to give the power of the Nine Tails to his son, and he wanted to die along with Kushina. That's the reason why he died. And obviously for the greater good, blah, blah, the village, whatever. The whole 9 yards. While Tobirama dies because he's a little bitch. And he literally tells his team, I'll be the sacrificial pawn, I'll go hold him off, fight, whatever, and then dies. He lost actually to Kinnigan twice. Twice. Not once, twice. And then you have a fucking Darui, out of all characters, coming in and beating their ass. And all these other characters fighting against their strongest form V2. That makes Tobirama look really fucking bad, bro. Really fucking bad, okay? So, overall, that, I just wanted to kind of give that out there just to piss off the Tobirama tards or anyone that even fucking debates for Tobirama or any of that. All of you can suck a dick, you can cry, I don't care, it's obvious as fucking day. And if you deny it, you're just being purely ignorant, or you're a troll, or you're a rat, and you do it for the attention. It's that fucking simple. Or if you really, really believe it, and you're not doing it for the attention, to troll and rat, then you're just dumb. It's that simple. It's one or the other. Bye.